I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing episode 6 of Taskmaster series 18, and in my opinion this is another really strong episode, starting off with the prize task as usual. And the prize task this time was the most fun thing to put in Alex's pocket without him knowing, and I think this was a really good category for the prize task. Andy started off really strong in my opinion by bringing in the elixir of life, which I thought was really good. I love his really creative prize tasks. I definitely think he puts the most effort into these prize tasks, and this is no exception. It was really good. A lot of thought has gone into it, and it's something that you wouldn't really expect as well, so I think it works really well in the prize tasks. And obviously this prize was made even better because Alex had to drink whatever was in that, and I have no idea, when they smelt it they seemed to be taken aback a little bit, so I do wonder what was in it. I assume not alcohol, but it could be, but he seemed to drink it quite well, but yeah, that I thought was really funny. Baba brought in a keyring, and I absolutely loved how Baba defended himself with this because he knew Alex would like it, and that was the point, it was the most fun thing to put in Alex's pocket, not the most fun thing to just for someone to find in their pocket. It was Alex specifically, so I definitely like that he stood up for himself with that, saying that Alex really likes keyrings anyway, and then the phrase on it telling him to big up yourself, Alex really enjoyed, and I think that was really nice and just showed how well they got on throughout the series as well, so that was really nice. Jack's prize task attempt was really strong as well, bringing in a fart machine disguised as a sports machine to see how fit you were and things like that, so that I think was really strong, and I loved that Alex was surprised by it. He didn't have a clue what it was going into it and did get tricked by Jack making him do the exercises and then setting off the fart machine. Just really good, and I think it was just really funny, and it took everybody by surprise. Emma brought in a QR code that linked to a pair of tickets to go see Bon Jovi, a Bon Jovi tribute band, and this I thought was a really fun one as well. It's a genuinely good prize to win, so I really like when people bring in a good prize, because it definitely adds, I think, to the stakes of the episode a little bit more. I loved how excited Emma was talking about them, saying that they performed at her wedding, and how excited Alex was when they actually linked to a pair of tickets, so this was just really good. And Rosie brought in ice cubes, which I think is not the best prize task attempt from her, but I definitely like her reasoning behind it, saying that once it melts it'll look like he's wet himself. So I think it's really strong, but again, as a prize, it's definitely the weakest one, but I think the joke is funny. But yeah, it's the thing I'd least like to win, which doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but I always like to think of them as prizes that I would want to win as well. I do agree with Greg's scoring on this one, giving 3 points to Jack and Rosie, and then 4 points to Emma and Baba, and then giving 5 points to Andy, which at first I was a little shocked by, but I really liked the effort that he put into it, and the creativeness, and also kind of making Alex do something weird and not very nice, and that's always funny. So yeah, I definitely agree with Greg's scoring on this one. The first proper task of this episode was to fish a fish and put it in the frying pan, and the dottiest fish wins. They had 15 minutes total, and yeah, it ended as soon as the fish was put in the frying pan. And this I thought was a really fun task. I loved the setup of it. It just looked really cool, and there are the kind of lights flashing in the background. I just thought it was a really nice set for this task. I mean, for any task really, but I thought it was really good, and I liked Jack already getting fed up with this task as soon as he walked in, which didn't bode well for his task attempt. We started off with Baba and Emma's attempts with this task, and I thought straight away Baba was really smart by not relying on Alex to direct where it was going. Alex controlled whether it went up or down, but Baba grabbed hold of the rope and moved it around like that to actually get a bit more accuracy, so I definitely think that worked in his favour. He had a pretty good start, picking one up seemingly quite quickly, but then it was knocked off when he tried to grab it, which I loved that it made Alex break. That was really funny. He did seem to struggle a bit, it definitely seems like the magnets didn't work 100% of the time, or you just had to hit the sweet spot really, because I know later in Jack's attempt he seemed to struggle quite a bit as well. But yeah, he eventually picked up the fish with 30 dots on, so yeah, that was a really impressive moment. I love how excited he was by it, and it definitely made it seem like something really fun that I'd want to have a go at. Emma on the other hand had a different approach, and she went round and just started looking all around the like bridge bit they were on, like looking in the bin and just eventually looking under the frying pan and found a dotty fish. And this I thought was really, really good. She didn't think about it properly though. She shouldn't have just put the fish straight in. She was obviously thinking it was fastest wins, which was such a shame because like she had a really good like backup one. It would be nice to have a go and like see if she could find a better one. I did think she seemed a bit disappointed that she didn't actually get to have a go with the fishing rod and like have a go of the actual task. We then had Andy and Rosie paired together. And Rosie again started looking at all the things around her. She perhaps spent a bit too much time looking at all these things. I did love her refusing Alex's help, saying she was a strong, independent lady. And then when she couldn't do it, then immediately got Alex to open it. I just thought it was really funny. I did think her idea was good. It just unfortunately took a lot more time than other people's workarounds for this. Because yeah, taking the dots off the fish and putting it all onto one, I think was a really strong idea. But as I said, it just required a lot more time and effort of having to fish up a lot of fish. And then obviously you could just get one with one on. And yeah, it just wasn't the best attempt, but I liked her thoughts around this, her like logic. She did get a little bit unlucky, I guess, with the ones that she did pick up. And she didn't get any ones with like 10 or anything on. She did seem to get a little bit unlucky with the ones she's picked as well, because she didn't get any ones with like a large amount of dots on, so she was relying on getting like an extra one or two. So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, but as I said, I do think her idea was quite good. It just didn't pay off very well. Andy, on the other hand, completely nailed this task. He did absolutely amazingly. And he picked up a fish at the start and immediately didn't put it in the pan, so that was really good. And then noticed the pen on the ground, which I have to admit, I did not see it on the like first few attempts. So yeah, I was quite surprised. I was quite shocked that I didn't see it. So yeah, that was really good and was able to put on a ridiculous amount of dots onto his fish, including on the rim of the fish, which I thought was really good. But yeah, there's absolutely no way anybody could beat him on this unless they also found the pen, but yeah, I thought this was such a good attempt. And then we had Jack, who was immediately struggling to pick them up. As I said with Baba's attempt, Baba grabbed hold of the fishing line and was able to direct it a bit more, whereas Jack relied purely on directing Alex with like moving it a bit to the left, a bit to the right, and it just seemed to take quite a while to pick up a fish. I think they said at the end he had about 8 minutes left, so he was working on it for about 7 minutes, I think, trying to like pick up a fish, which I think I would get frustrated if I spent 7 minutes trying to direct Alex to pick up a fish. But unfortunately, once he picked up, he didn't think about what the best thing to do was. He didn't seem to like realise that he could pick up the fish or like touch the fish. He seemed to really just rely on the fishing rod. And yeah, he put it immediately in the frying pan and then realised it only had one dot, which was unfortunate but very, very funny. And I think, especially because he came into this task already quite annoyed by it, it just made it that extra bit funny. And yeah, I just thought this whole task was really good. I'd really want to have a go at it, and I think again it's kind of like a bit more of like a classic task, something that they may have done before and is just kind of like working it and doing it in a different way. The next task was a creative task, and this one was to create, handle and voice a charismatic children's character to be a sidekick for Alex in like a children's show. And I just thought this was a really fun task. I like when they have to kind of make things to children, because it just makes anything that they do that is a bit out there or a bit rude, it just makes it even funnier because it's supposed to be aimed at children. A big example of this that I find, it always cracks me up, was in Taskmaster New Zealand Series 2 when they had to do like an educational puppet show, and it was just madness. So I always like this kind of task. I like that Alex wore the same outfit in all of them. I think he definitely captured the like vibe of a children's presenter. I just thought it looked really good, and he definitely had like the right attitude and the way he kind of like delivered lines and things. So I really enjoyed that. I think this task started off really strong with Jack's attempt with Horne and Horsey. I just absolutely loved Jack's character. I thought the voice was funny, or the way he kind of spoke was really funny as well. I just thought the contrast between Alex and the horse was really good, and it's really funny, and I liked the essence of the children's show was teaching the kids the alphabet by thinking of words that begin with that letter, going, it was apple, best friend, and then charismatic. So I like that he linked the charismatic part of the task into the TV show. And also the added bit of insinuating that Alex was going to say the C word, which then carried into the studio by Greg trying to make him say it and then kissing him. Like, I think that's the second time they've kissed in this series. So they're definitely playing up to the fan fiction and everything people write about them. I love the really sinister and evil Pidgeot character he created. I thought it was really good, and I love the way he puppeteered it as well. I thought it was really good with all the different strings, and a bit more challenging than everybody else's puppets where they either just use their hand or something like that. I thought it was really, really creative. Not very appropriate for children, but really, really funny, and I liked all the different things he said. There was lots of funny bits in this, but yeah, particularly the you can't eat ice cream when you're burning in hell, just amazing. And I loved Alex kind of not really accepting it and refusing to let him elaborate, but then moving his head closer to allow him to be pecked to death. It was just really good, and yeah, definitely not appropriate for children, but very, very funny. I loved the voice as well. It was just really creepy. Yeah, just very, very good. Then we had Emma's cheeky little banana boy, which I would definitely agree with Greg and Zane was the least charismatic, but it definitely doesn't take away from the funniness of her TV show. I think there are lots of good parts in this. I think the banana character was quite good. And I liked them teaching kids about banana. The song was quite good, and it was what you'd expect to see in a children's TV show. But then it obviously went off the rails when the banana admitted to having feelings for Alex, and was whispering to him to eat a banana, and then died because Alex wouldn't. It was just all very, very odd, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. I think all of these were really, really funny, even if they're not charismatic or that appropriate for children. But I just thought it was all just hilarious, and yeah, I loved this one. I thought it was so silly, and I love how Alex seemed genuinely quite uncomfortable by it. Baba's one was Man Like Tyrone, and this was amazing as well. Again, there's so much funny stuff in this. Teaching children not to do drugs was obviously a very, very good message for a children's TV show, but then obviously immediately flipped on his head by Man Like Tyrone telling the children to sell them instead, because you shouldn't get high on your own supply. I just absolutely loved this. I thought it was really funny. I think the puppet was quite, for a Weasley character, I just thought it looked really good. And yeah, there's so much stuff I loved about this one. It was really funny, and I think Greg said, it was generally a little bit charismatic. You're yeah, that makes sense. And it's a bit shocking. It worked really, really well, and I definitely think it deserved 5 points. And then we had Rosie's, which was definitely my least favourite out of all of them. It was Little Alex and Mr. Pooh. It was just so disgusting. I think just all of it was just horrible. Them talking about how Alex made him, and just the look of it all, the chocolate spread, whatever it was, over it, and Alex kissing it, just absolutely horrid. I don't know why she thought of this. So overall, Greg scored this by giving Emma 1 point, Rosie 2, Andy 3, Jack 4, and Baba 5. And I definitely agree with this, but I would say my personal favourite was Jack's one. I just thought it was really, really good. I just loved the horse character, and the voice just absolutely kills me. It was so good. For the last proper task of this episode, we had them defusing the robot. So in this one, they had to cut all of the wires bar one, the danger wire, to defuse the robot. And if you cut the danger wire, then it exploded, and then they were disqualified. They only had 10 minutes to complete this task, which I thought was quite difficult, but it definitely made sense, and the context of the task, if you're defusing a bomb, it is going to be really close to the wire and really difficult and lots of time pressure. So I think it really worked well, and obviously this was fastest wins. We started off with Baba and Emma, and I loved how Baba just immediately looked like he was just going to be blindly cutting the wires. He was there just giggling, ready to cut it, even though he had absolutely no reason to cut any of the wires. He just didn't seem to see any of the clues around, and when he did see them, unfortunately, he just didn't seem to understand any of the clues either. I loved how nervous he was to cut the wire as well, and he was right to be nervous, because he only cut the danger wire, which I thought was absolutely amazing. Just a phenomenal effort in my opinion. Emma as well didn't do that well. She only managed to cut one wire correctly, and that was the green wire. And her logic behind that was because Gordon, the name Gordon, was on the safe list, and she thought Gordon Green, G linked it that way and thought it was safe. I do get her logic, it was unfortunately the wrong logic. She also had the wrong logic again when she said, oh, it's 3 letters, so the third wire is safe, and then cut the blue one. But I think the like robot exploding was really, really funny. I liked the look of it. It looked like genuinely quite shocking. So yeah, all of that I thought was really good. Just the whole setup of this task was, I thought, really inventive and yeah, quite different to anything they've done before. And I think with that added thing of it exploding, it just really added to it. We then had Andy and Rosie paired together, and I thought both of them were really strong in this task. Andy especially, like he just seemed to get it straight away. So getting that the clue was brown from the list of safe names, he picked up the red wine, and again he just kind of guessed and said, oh, that seems safe. And went for it, like he didn't actually work out the clue. But yeah, he seemed to pick up on most of the clues around, but I think the most important one was that he saw the blue moon picture. That's how he got it, because it said HMS Danger and the picture was blue, so he thought, well, blue is danger, and managed to cut all the other ones and work it out that way. So I definitely think the way that he attempted this task was really good, and he seemed genuinely quite surprised that he completed it. But yeah, I think he approached each clue and like appreciated that it was a clue, whereas I think Barbara and Emma just seemed to get confused and not really think anything applied too much to the task. But yeah, Andy definitely looked in everything as like, well, this definitely means something. And Rosie did exactly the same as well. Like I thought she did really well. She found the brown clue as well. She found the phone on the ceiling, which gave a clue to the safe. And then got the rugby ball and got that it was all black from that. So that was really, I probably wouldn't have got that connection. But yeah, she did it, and I thought that was really good. She saw the green, the word safe written in green outside. But I think one of the colours that wasn't really explained as to why it was safe was grey. Because when Rosie was choosing between blue and grey to cut right at the end, she told him to cut grey. And I don't think that one was ever explained. I couldn't remember why that one was deemed safe, whether it was just a guess on her part or whether she genuinely worked out the clue. But yeah, Alex was 100% too slow in cutting the wire. I don't understand why. Like, yes, it was close to the deadline, but as he said, it was 8 seconds. That's definitely enough time to cut the wire. I don't know why. He seemed to be going deliberately slowly, which I don't really understand why he would do that. Maybe he was trying to take it up to like the last couple seconds for like dramatic effect, and it just failed. Like it didn't work. Maybe he did struggle to cut it. Maybe the edit was just a bit unfair to him. Maybe it was difficult. But I 100% agree with Greg in allowing Rosie to get these points, because it wasn't her fault. She cracked the code before the time was up. And yeah, it was Alex being a bit too slow, which is unfortunate. And yeah, I definitely think giving her the points on this is fair. And finally, we had Jack, and Jack's attempt was amazing. I really enjoyed his attempt. So he got the brown clue again. He found the phone. He did actually dial the phone and found those voicemails, which I don't understand what they were supposed to be saying. They seemed to really like obviously they contradicted themselves, but I couldn't work out what the clue was supposed to be. Maybe that's something to do with the grey wire, I don't know. But yeah, it was obviously from that he got the rugby ball out of the safe, but then obviously crucially found the word danger on the blue pair of clippers. And I love that Alex kept asking how much time was left, because he seemed to be he did like most of the clues he figured out in like the last minute of the task, which I thought was really good. And yeah, I just thought his attempt was amazing. Like it was genuinely close to him failing. But yeah, I just love how chilled he was. It was just like, yeah, just like a regular day, just diffusing a robot. It was just really, really good. Like with the fishing task, this is a task that I would have loved to have a go at. It's kind of similar to Escape Room, where you have to like figure out all the different clues around the room. But yeah, this one I just really, really enjoyed. I would love to have a go at it. I don't know if I'd be that good at it. Yeah, I think as well what maybe made people struggle, particularly Baba and Emma, was that 10-minute time limit and seeing your time count down, because you would get a bit flustered if you spent 5 minutes trying to work out a particular clue and not really gotten anywhere. And that's why you might make like rash decisions, just like, oh, I'll try this one, and it fails. So yeah, I definitely think that applied to Baba and Emma's attempts. Overall, I thought this was another really, really strong task. And obviously the task just made funnier by the contestants, like Jack being super chilled, Rosie getting angry at Alex, and Baba thinking he'd won after he cut the only wire he shouldn't have cut. Just such a strong task. And then we had the studio task, and this time they had to guess the job of the person on the stage, which was Quentin. And it's nice to see him back again. He was in series 13 with when they had to guess his name, which is one of my favourite studio task attempts, just because of how disastrous it was. Like, genuinely so impressive it took them that long to get. I just absolutely love that task, and I felt so bad for him standing up there. But fortunately on this one, it did take a lot less time to get to the answer. So similar to that one, they could ask a yes or no question, and they only had 10 seconds to think of a question. And I thought Andy was quite strong off the board by just asking if he'd ever drawn blood, because the answer was yes. They immediately all got on to the medical industry and were able to realise that he, worked in medicine and did a job like that. There was another throwback to Andy asking if he was an anaesthetist, which is a throwback to series 3, I think. So yeah, I love that as well. I don't know if it was intentional on his part, but I liked that connection, because I was thinking it as well when it was told that he was in the medical field. I was like, oh my god, I can't be an anaesthetist again. Emma was so close with her guess of an obstetrician, because obviously that's really closely related to gynecology, which is what it was. So Jack got really lucky with that, and the fact that he knew that it was closely related. And also Quentin did kind of give it away a little bit, which definitely benefited Jack. So he got 5 points on this one. It was winner takes all, and I have said that I don't like winner takes all, but with this kind of task, obviously there's no way about it. There's only one way that you can win. There's no way of working out who came second or who came third. Whereas in some of the other tasks they've had this season, the winner takes all seems a bit unnecessary, because you could have sorted it in who was the next closest to win, but with this one you can't. So I think winner takes all is fair. But the winner of this task was Andy. Even with Jack getting 5 points, he had such a strong episode. He got 5 points on the prize task, 5 points on the fish task, 5 points on the diffusing task, and then 3 points on the other one. But yeah, just 3 wins in this episode, just really, really good. We didn't see any hot dog costumes in this episode, so no Joker for anybody. It's such a shame that Andy didn't pick this episode or one of the tasks in this episode to wear his hot dog costume, because he would have, it would have been amazing for him. I cannot wait to see when the other 3 contestants choose to wear their hot dog costumes. At the start of every task, I'm just waiting to see somebody walk out in a hot dog costume, which I never thought I would be doing. So I just really enjoy this joke. I've said it before, but I think it's a really good idea. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. It really helps the channel. And comment down below your thoughts on this episode. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Would you like to have a go at the tasks as much as I want to? Subscribe if you want to see more videos to do with Taskmaster. I'll have some more out for you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!